Are you feeling anxious? Online Therapy 24/7 is here to help. We offer confidential support from the comfort of your own sofa. Our highly qualified therapists are experienced in a full range of daily challenges. You'll be in safe and trusted hands. Don't suffer alone. Change your life by calling us on 0207 553 50 80 and check out our website onlinetherapy247.com.
Monday. Hello, everyone.
Wonder where you were. Monday, staring at an empty chair.
What? What are you on the edge of your seat?
Okay. All right.
Well, you weren't in the seat. I was on the edge of my seat. You weren't even in the seat. Chutzpah. Who's going to be the first person to comment this week? Another week. Who's going to be the very, very first person to comment this week? I'm overexcited, to be honest. I think Ed Grossman, happy Montag. There he is. Ed Grossman, winner of the I'm First Out of the Starters Box.
Well, quite.
Very exciting. How are you, Phil? Phil, how are you?
Well, honestly. Oh, hang on. Hang on.
Crazy name. Gal, you've had him. Brilliant name.
It's very kind of you to ask how I am. The truth is that I am a bit befuddled today because I'm feeling a little. Once in a while, you see, there is a build-up of workload that just starts to feel like it's getting a little on top of me, and unfortunately, I feel like I'm in that position. Which is not completely great, but it's all good. I will muddle through because that's what I do. And how about you, RK?
Yes. Well,
how is your?
It's been a busy day. Been a ridiculously busy day so far today. It's absolutely nice. Thank you. This is an original Harley. It's my original Harley Davidson jacket that I bought. I don't know how many years ago. I love this jacket. I don't often wear it, but I like it. It's very comfortable now because when you buy it originally, it's like wearing concrete. You can't move the sleeve. Literally can't move the sleeves. But now over decades. And of course, they wear out. It's got the most fabulous lining. I'm going to show you this lining. This lining is just gorgeous. Look, just gorgeous lining. Can you see? Proper Harley Davidson.
Wow.
Yeah, proper Harley jacket.
Oh, there isn't that nice? Now I think someone needs to tell Russ kits and over the phone. It's not very easy to hear you, but it's fine. In other news, by the way. We have to
other news. Just save everyone else.
Yes, very good afternoon, Barry J. Allen.
Barry J. Allen, Flash. Why? Why what? Where? What? Ed, why what? Morning, gents.
Ed is being very philosophical.
Podcast of the Stars.
Ed is being very philosophical today. He's just asked. Why?
Why anything? Why anything? Why do we bother? Why do we get out of bed?
I wouldn't be surprised.
Why do we take people to their?
We could just call this show. Why?
Yeah, that's very kind. Why, Ed Grossman, do you rush to take somebody to their fabulous new volunteer, which is a really important job, and then you get a message, I'm back, and you go, why are you back? Oh, because nobody turned up. I've had to come back on 4 buses. Yay! Oh, I was replying to Alexandra. How are we supposed Ed, how are we supposed to know? Right. Alex says, I've been on the hold with BT for 30 minutes. Why?
Oh, hello.
I don't know. Absolutely no. What's going on now?
Alex says, had 3 scam calls in a row this morning, so I figured I needed to tell him. Thank goodness I knew there were scams, but a lot of people, often the elderly, don't realise. You're absolutely right, Alex. And actually, do you know what? This is one of the things that in my capacity as a technology broadcaster, of which I'm normally, as it were, seen or heard, I actually often do talk about this because there are very telling things that one should be listening out for. And I feel like it's my duty to repeat those right here, right now, just in case people don't realize.
Please, very good.
Inside. Well, first of all, and this is kind of the golden rule, is that if anyone phones you asking for something, now whether that is asking to connect to your computer or whether that is asking you for money, asking you for details of any description, even if it's something as simple, even if they're just asking you to confirm your date of birth, never, ever, ever give details to anyone who phones you. That's the bottom line. That's what you must remember about everything else. The reason why this is the case is because that anyone can phone up and pose to be from a company. And if they're calling on a withheld number, how the heck are you supposed to know one way or another? So I hear you cry out, well, hang on a second. If they are genuinely calling, what do I do? Well, you say to them very simply, please can I have a reference number for this call? I am going to call you back. And then once you've made the call, you know by looking up the correct telephone number for these different companies that you're free to give them whatever information that you need to in order to verify the call. If you do it when they call you, they could be anyone. At least if you call the telephone number that's on their official website, you know you've got through to them. Really important that. And the other thing that's super important as well is that if someone phones up, not even asking for information, says, look, I'm calling from Microsoft. They won't be calling from Microsoft. Calling from Microsoft, I've just seen that there is a problem with your computer. Well, do me a favor. How do they know what your computer is? How do they know what your computer? But they'll be convincing.
I'll tell you how they know. Because the person they're calling will have had the vaccine jab, and Bill Gates's nanobots will have linked them to the 5G masts, and that is how they know.
Okay, don't start.
Always thinking, baby. Never not thinking.
Trust me that will not be the case. They do not know what your computer is. And frankly, the only way they will know your computer is if you give them access. So if they say you've got a virus, we need to connect to sort it, that's when they'll know what your computer is. And never, ever, ever do it. Because I'm telling you, companies like Microsoft, like Symantec, or wherever these people are, anything like that, they don't have the infrastructure to call you to look for problems. Believe me, they've got enough people bugging them with problems without them phoning you as well. It's a scam. Always, always will be.
Confirming the Phil Dave philosophy of life. I would love the opportunity to explain how I deal with these with phones up. Bottom line, make fun of them. Golden rule, never, ever give them information. Even if it's genuine, always call them back or ring off. They have the shortest conversations in the world with me. It's 2 words, and the second one's off. Now, Alex, good afternoon to Sen Monroe. Hello to you, and hello to people said for some while. Good afternoon. Must be talking to us, Phil. Who knew? I've been away for a bit, not in prison, but delighted to be back. Where's he been? What's he been doing?
Well, quite.
Huh? He says not in prison. Why should we believe him? Why? Why? Huh? That's what I say. Now, Alex, I didn't make it. Must be you, Phil. Did you make comments about Sainsbury's advert, which I've not seen? I must be honest. I have no idea what it's. What's the fuss? What's the hoo-ha? Was it you who made the comments, or was it me? No, it must be you.
To be honest, any advert for Sainsbury's wouldn't make the slightest bit of difference. I'd still avoid them like the plague, if you'll forgive the terrible pun in this day and age. So it doesn't bother me.
Why would you avoid Sainsbury's?
No, because they decide.
Of course, Sainsbury's are not here to defend themselves. Why would you? Why? What do you got against them?
Well, as you rightly identified, they're not here. So without getting too deeply into it, the upshot is that they got a little bit political back in 2014, and I decided it was not the job of a supermarket to get political, so off I went.
The only way you can deal with these people, or anybody who gets political that you don't like, is hit them where it hurts. And it only hurts them one place, their pocket. They're not interested in anything else. You can tweet, you can do. You refuse to endorse them finally. That's the only way that you can have any effect with these Herberts. You know, if you don't want it, you don't want it. You know, if you
by the way,
do. I think you do. If you do, it's Hamilton. Don't buy Mercedes.
And let me stress, by the way, that's my choice. So I'm not encouraging others to do the same. In fact, on the contrary, shop wherever the hell you like. So.
Yeah, absolutely. It's none of our business. Do whatever you want. It's kind of or not. Lawrence Fox, who I kind of have a lot of time for, and I used to have a lot of interaction more because he's too busy. He did a tweet this morning which just kind of floored me, and it's all to do with mental lockdowns. So it's a kind of it's the whole thing. He said I had a load of people over for dinner, and we all talked and we all hugged. It was marvelous.
Right.
I don't want to dash around here. The Sainsbury's supporting. God, what's going on here?
No,
right.
Keep going. It's fine.
Sainsbury's advert was supporting the ad, not berating him. No, we get that. I haven't seen the ad because I've watched hardly any terrestrial TV.
I just think that honestly, I just think it doesn't really matter. I mean, if someone is actually genuinely looking at, I mean, obviously the advert in question, the Sainsbury's advert, is about the fact that Sainsbury's have decided to use an all black cast in their Christmas advert, and this seems to have disgruntled a lot of people. Now, the way I look at it is, as long as they've done it for the right reason and not to make a political point, well, then good for them. I would like to think that they gave those actors the job because they were the best for the job, and not because they're trying to say, look at us, aren't we so wonderful? But I've no idea. I don't know what the reason is. But as long as it's the right reason and not a political statement, and if it is a political statement, well, then shame on them. As I say,
Listen, Phil's a little upset. She just hung up on BT by mistake. You silly cow.
Oh dear. Alex, would you like me to Alex, would you like me to give you the number for BT that you don't actually have to hold on for and you get straight through to somebody? Let me know.
No, she wouldn't want that. She likes hanging on like an idiot for an hour. No. Ed Roseman, Matt Lucas. Did anyone see him on Jonathan Ross? No, because you used the word Jonathan Ross, so I wouldn't.
Hang on a sec. Let me finish. If I find it, you can have it. Oh, that was horrible. No, in other words, if I can find the number, if I can find the number that exists, yeah. Okay, sorry about that.
Well, it's a Christmas ad, and I don't see why we should be giving Sainsbury's free publicity. What have they ever done for us? Answer: none. Nothing.
Oh, quite.
It is kind of curious that every advert, whether it's good, whether it's bad, whether it's indifferent, I'm just making an observation. I'm not making any other point. Please don't start jumping up and down. But every advert is the black, the wife's white. Every advert. It's quite extraordinary. It can't be represent. I mean, the only thing it can't be represent. There's no problem with it. It's just for the sake of it. Is my view. I don't care if the product's good or the product's not good. I won't buy it. If it's a good advert, I'll watch it. If it's a bad advert, I'll flick through. If I can, it can't be representative. I assume, but it is the way of things. Who cares? So what? It's an advert. It's not really something to get hung up about. I can't understand why, if a company decides to do an advert and they do an all black cast, they don't do like an all Asian cast. That never seems. I do find that odd. But there we are. That's their choices. It's their money. They can do what they want.
As long as it's the right reason.
You're not going to take offense. You can't take offense. It'd be shocking to take offense, wouldn't it? It would be so rude.
The only thing that I would be deliberately offended by is if I thought for a second that any advert, let's not single out one supermarket here, if any advert was made for the sake of proving a point, as if to say, look at us, aren't we wonderful? Or B, it was done as if to say, well, look, no one else has ever done this before, and we're going to be doing it as a novelty. I would like to think that anyone is employed based on their ability, not based on the color of their skin, because then to me, that is smatterings of decades ago, which I thought we'd left well and truly behind. So if we come out with this nonsense,
I'm with that. But it's a conscious decision, Phil. It's a conscious decision to cast it in that way. It's a conscious decision. Has to be that. Yeah. It's kind of like you can't win. I mean, if people want to get upset, and I've noticed that people seem to be upset thinking, with everything that's going on, who cares? What does it matter? I mean, in the great scheme of life, what on earth does it matter? If they were all Chinese, well, maybe not Chinese because of the Wuhan, they were all Japanese, I don't know, or somewhere, everyone be jumping up and down? No. So I just don't care. What is interesting that no one else has seemed to mention is there are so many ads now which feature lesbians. I couldn't care less. You've got Match.com, fair enough, and you've got the Renault ad, which is kind of sweet, really. And there's another ad, I think it's for broadband. That's it, it's for broadband. So I did a gag to my gay friends, and I said, do you have to be a lesbian to buy a Renault Clio, use Virgin Media, and go on Match? I don't know. It's just, but that's clearly a trend. That's clearly a trend, because that would never have happened for a multitude of reasons a few years ago. Now, who cares? Seriously, who cares?
And Ramsey is saying nothing wrong with Black family. People making a fuss are in the wrong. Phil, it's an advert, not a job as a pilot. But Ramsey, I mean, I don't want to denigrate the work that actors who appear either in major serial dramas or in adverts do. The way I look at it is that there are right and wrong people for an advert. If I was taken on to be in an advert for my, quote, acting ability, then I would be given the job for totally the wrong reasons, because I can't act to save my life. But as long as someone is able to act or do the job in hand, I don't care what the hell their background is. And I don't think anyone should care what their background is.
It's irrelevant.
You know, whether they say it's for positive discrimination or not, because what we've got in the age of positive discrimination is actually discriminating, typically speaking, against white British male. And I think that in itself is appalling. The bottom line is discrimination, positive or negative. And what an oxymoron, positive discrimination. No, discrimination is discrimination. And it should not be okay.
It's dressing it up. It's dressing it up. It's what it is. Paul Rose, use an all-white cast, you're racist. Use an all-black cast, you're using positive discrimination. Use a mixed cast, and you're more interested in avoiding a scandal than selling some gravy. Can we all just calm? Yeah. These things, you know what it is? It's just an echo chamber of people going, whoa. So is the issue they weren't... No. You're being deliberately thick and you know it. Come on, stop it.
Ramsey, I think, is sort of unfortunately late to the party here. No, Ramsey, I've not said there's a problem. I don't have a problem with this advert. We are talking about the fact that for some reason other people...
the advert, by the way.
I haven't got a clue. But the point is that some people do have a problem with it. I don't understand why they've got a problem with it, but they say they do have. And if the issue is that it's because it's an all-black cast, well, then that's horrific. But my point is that as long as Sainsbury's have done it for the right reason, again, I don't want to pick out Sainsbury's here. It's really important. This is any advert. I don't actually care if it's Sainsbury's. I don't care who it's for. As long as those actors have been chosen for the right reason and not to A, make a political statement, or B, to highlight a point, you know, that other advertising companies are not doing enough of the same, then I'm sorry, I just think that's wrong. We need to look and see that if there is a problem in general when it comes to advertisers choosing who advertises their products, then that's what you need to hone in on. Don't hone in on the fact that an advert has either got an all-black cast, an all-white cast, a mixed cast, whatever it is. That's just horrible. Doesn't blooming matter. Seriously. It's so irrelevant. As long as the person can...
Why don't you just hone in if you like the product? buy it. And if you don't like the product, don't buy it. The end. That's it. That's what adverts do. Adverts say, here's my product, go and buy it. That's what they do. What they do. And, that's how it is. Kimmy Lashmar. Sadly, I'm at work on Thursday. I've loved being safe at home. Colour of skin or background has no effect on me. If they're nasty humans, whatever colour or creed that I don't like. Precisely.
Correct. Couldn't agree more.
Summed up in one message from Kimmy Lashmar. Russ and Phil, the whole Ian Wright family are doing an ad, okay? Well, like...
I don't know, is it? I've not seen it.
I don't like adverts. I can't stand adverts. They drive me mad. I mean, I usually watch...
I don't know about you. I fast forward adverts. I couldn't care less who's in what adverts. Doesn't interest me.
If I deliberately would go and make coffee or something, so I can get a gap, and then I can fast forward the adverts because I have no interest in watching any of the adverts. They're all pants. You have missed
Russell.
Ross, the end. That's it. I don't like Jonathan Ross. I don't like his show. I love Matt Lucas. Love him. Can't stand Jonathan Ross. So I don't need to. You don't get it? I don't get Jonathan Ross. Haven't done for years. I can't watch his show. I can't watch Keith Lemon. Won't watch it. So it's not a problem. It's simple. I choose not to watch it. Don't watch sports programs. Not interested. Jonathan Ross, definitely not interested. Keith Lemon, want to punch the TV screen. Can't bear him. Reality TV shows, watch them. Can't stand them. End of. So it's not my problem. It's interesting. Someone says it's your problem. No, it's my choice. It's not a problem. It's a choice. That's how mental health gets stirred up.
Yeah, but
mental health gets stirred up. And Ed, I'm a huge fan of yours. You know that. I'm a huge fan of yours. But it's really interesting. Like, what's your problem? I don't like it. I don't like the problem with it. It tastes shit. I don't like beetroot. I won't eat it. Ross, won't watch him. Can't stand Keith Lemon. Won't watch him. It's not a problem. It's my personal choice. It's a choice. It's not a problem.
See, what's really
I don't watch soaps. People love them. I don't watch them. I'm not interested in them.
But you see, it's really interesting how agitated people get at the prospect that one's opinion might be different to theirs. It's absolutely staggering. If some people don't like certain adverts, to bring it back to that, on television, for whatever the reason, that's fine. It doesn't matter if they don't like those adverts. Honestly, it's not a problem. Okay? Don't let it get the better of you. Don't let it drive you too down, because, frankly, you're not going to change their opinion. There are loads of adverts I can't stand for whatever reason. And it's my humble. I don't have to like everything. It's the freedom of choice.
But there is it's really interesting on discussing an advert that I haven't seen, so I've got no comment on it apart from I don't care. I don't care. But it leads straight back to mental health. Straight back to it. Why does it lead back to it? Because there is a sort of here, and Ed is, he loves the show. We love Ed's comments. Love them. All right.
Yeah.
And I'm a huge Matt Lucas fan. He's terrific. I've liked him for as long as I can possibly remember, when he was just doing George Dawes, what's the score on the George Dawes with whatever that was called, Shooting Stars, years ago, right? But the subtext is, I'm not saying Ed's saying this, but there is a subtext in life that if you don't like something or you don't agree with something, it's a national disaster. You're wrong. Everyone's got to... No. When did we get to this state? Couldn't have a difference of opinion. Doesn't mean you're right or you're wrong. It's an opinion. If you think whether there's absolutely right or wrong, if you think the world is flat and you're a flat earth believer, you're wrong. And you're also bonkers. But that's a fact, okay? That's it. You're wrong. because it just isn't. It's like saying there's no such thing as gravity. You're wrong. There is gravity. Jump off a cliff, you're going to fall. That's called gravity. That's it. But there's very few things where you can't say, well, that's your opinion, that's mine. We can agree to disagree. But that's a phrase that has just been destroyed. And that's why so many of these initiatives set things back. What's that, Phil?
See, I don't understand where that has come from, this notion of you can't have a difference of opinion. Don't know where it stems from.
Where it's come from. I know exactly where it's come from. It starts with politics. And the politics have got filthy. It's been exacerbated by social media, particularly Twitter, without doubt, particularly Twitter, which has made it so toxic. Gee, stuff that goes on. And I can only look for very few minutes and they have to come off because I find it distressing, I find it disturbing, I find it very depressing. I have to come straight off it. I've tweeted about women's radio, or made a little joke, and I'm off. Because the politics on there are toxic. And it's come from that. It's come from Brexit. Because you had a side. And it's come from various political movements where you have to pick a side. Not all of us want to pick a side. Some of us mind their own business. But you're being forced to pick a side. And that's where it stems from. It's not right.
And all the problem with that, what it does is it gets people wound up and angry at the prospect of them being told, no, they are wrong, which fuels the fire. I'm not being funny. If someone tells you are wrong without categorically proving that is the case, then what does that do? I don't know about you, but it gets me really wound up. I get very cross about it. So for me, even now, when we're just talking about this advert, this stupid, ridiculous advert that seems to have sort of started this whole blooming conversation off. When someone tells me I am wrong to think the way I do, all it makes me do is get really agitated by the whole problem. And I just think...
It makes you agitated, it makes you upset, but it dig your heels in.
Yeah, but I am not wrong to think the way I do in exactly the same way that someone else is not wrong for thinking the way that they think about it. It doesn't make us better or worse people. It's just ridiculous.
Why don't you, as Paul Rose has joined us, why don't you read out his comment?
Embracing different options is the key to intelligent discourse. It's how we evolve. The problem is that people believe... What? What did I say?
Options, it's opinions. You said options.
Oh, I beg your pardon. I'm so sorry.
You said embrace. It's all right. No. Just
anyone would think I had an early start. Embracing different opinions is the key. We'll use take two.
A stressful day.
We'll take
two, love. We've got that for safety. Do it with a slight more smile in the voice and rolling.
I did tell you on Friday, reading is not my strong suit. Embracing different opinions is the key to intelligent discourse. It's how we evolve. The problem is that people believe that their opinion is right, which means that anyone else is wrong. I prefer to respond with, I'm sorry, I have no opinion on this. And I think you're absolutely right. Have you noticed?
You know what, Paul and Phil, have you noticed this sometimes? They go, what do you think of so-and-so? And you go, well, I don't know, I don't have an opinion. And people in the old days go, okay, not anymore. What do you think of, doesn't matter, Marmite, cheese sandwich, Ross, Brexit, Black Lives Matter, doesn't matter. You say, well, I don't really have an opinion. The polite thing to do is just to leave it. No, they got to dig and dig and dig, and they keep prodding until you go, well, I think it sucks, actually. If you really want my opinion, I think it sucks and they're idiots. Whatever. Or it's revolting. Or
absolutely.
No, I don't like.
You know what's absolutely staggering is that it sort of doesn't seem to be a generational thing either anymore, Because for me, there was someone who the other day, a couple of weeks back actually, but they've always been a little bit politically motivated with a lot of things they do. But someone who I was speaking to the other day who happened to be a client of mine, right? And they're a client in the sense of computer world, right? Now, computers, I would like to think
not
are fairly... I'd like to think of fairly non-political subjects, right? It's something quite simple. I
The
offered repair.
computers, yes.
I repair
Yes.
computers. It's fine, no problem. In I go, sort the problem out, off I go again. It's quite a simple concept, which has served me quite well for the last 15 working years of my life and then some. Anyway, oh, blimey, it's nearly two. Oh, good God. Anyway, you're right. Well, let's say 15 because it makes me sound younger. Anyway, the point is that I went to this client the other day, and one of the first things they said, isn't it great about Trump? What? Isn't it great? Trump voted out. Isn't it great?
I look forward to Biden and Harris being as lampooned and so disgustingly treated as Trump has been, because that's never going to happen, is it?
And I said,
it's acceptable to do it to him.
I said, look, with the greatest amount of respect, I think we have different political opinions, which is fine. I don't want to get into a discussion about what I think about the Trump-Biden argument, because honestly, I believe neither are good for America. And I wholeheartedly believe that. And I would like to leave the conversation there if it's okay, because I really don't think this is why I'm here. And that was it. I just left. I walked away from it. I thought, this is ridiculous. I do not.
But how did your client take it? How did your client take it? Did they drop it?
No, they came back a bit more and tried to carry on the conversation. And I just said, I'm sorry, I'm leaving it there. No more. Literally no more on it. Thank you. And then they realized that was it. But they've always been a little bit the same, because I remember it was very much a conversation I had, or not a conversation I had. It was a conversation or a path I was led down back in 2016 over the vote to leave the European Union. And they said to me, isn't it terrible out the European Union? And I said, well, I don't think so, but I recognize half the country thinks it is. What? You don't think it's terrible? How could you say that? Really twitched.
I only need to remind you about 6 weeks ago at a dinner. That's all I need to say. God almighty.
Anyway, we laugh about that.
Veronica Curran. Now, this is a very valid point about fear and how it affects you and your mental ability. Veronica says, Russ, I'm scared to say I don't have an opinion. People can't accept the fact. That's the way
that's very true, actually.
Corralled. That's the way we are being stampeded towards. You have to have an opinion on everything. I don't. Phil doesn't. And Veronica, it's perfectly fine to say I don't have an opinion on it. I don't care.
Shock horror.
Okay. I don't care.
You couldn't care less about.
Put it on. I couldn't give a monkey's. Don't care. It's just fine to say I don't care, because I don't. You know, we're all adults. You don't have to care about absolutely everything. That Trump story just illustrates. Oh, look at this! It's exciting. It's the installation's finished, Phil. Yay! Miracle. That Trump story just illustrates that people aren't looking for new things to talk about. It's lazy conversation. I hosted a networking meeting the other day where we banned Trump and COVID. 2 hours of great conversation took place. Well done. Well done. I have to say, this COVID thing, still sometimes I think that I've dreamt it. I actually still think I must have dreamt it up, and it's not really happening. And I will wake up and it's just a dream from some sort of dystopian movie that I was watching the night before. And I've gone to bed and I was dreaming about the film that I've just seen. You know, like I Am Legend or something. Or The Omega Man. If you want to go back to the 70s. Man, just bizarre. It is just bizarre. Yeah, and I think it obviously affected absolutely everybody. Hello, Melanie with an O. Hutchins. Hi, everyone. Hello to you. And Paul Rose very wittily said, options is acceptable. Other words are available. He's doing a Phil Dave. He's doing a Phil Dave. I don't
want people take the proverbial out of me with that, you know. Anyway.
Yeah, you're quite right. Right. Do you want me to read Ramsey's point? Wow, this is
I would love you to read Ramsey's point. Go for it.
Do you want to read it? You read it. Oh, you want me to read it? Ramsey says, I know that Russ probably doesn't watch it, but on occasion I get drawn into watching Gogglebox. Or as they used to say, there was a band called Pop Will Eat Itself. TV will eat itself. Now you're watching people watching TV. It's basically people shouting at the television. Yep. The difference nowadays that shows encourage listener-viewer interaction. If we didn't add our comments and contribute, you wouldn't have such a good show. Totally so. It would be just you two talking. Joy. LBC wouldn't be the same without provocative presenters and people wanting to dial in and vent their spleen. It's not, no, Ramsey, you're conflating two totally different things. You're conflating two totally different things there. One is talk radio. I don't mean talk radio. I mean speech-based radio. Hey, wah, 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 wah. Speech-based radio. We love the fact, we never knew it was going to happen, but Phil and I love the fact, and so does all the team on men's radio and women's radio, that everybody piles in and it's fabulous and it's lively and it can get heated and it can get funny and it's terrific. And thank you. You are the show. Phil and I are just the conduits, but you guys are the show. That's fair enough. But Gogglebox, it's light entertainment. It's cheap, lazy television. It's an entirely different thing. It's cheap, lazy television. I have no desire. But this is me. It's a popular show. It's a genius idea because it costs tuppence. I got an idea. Let's film a show about people watching TV. Great. Here's the budget. Give me the change when you've bought a pack of cigarettes. You know, that's it. It's cheap and it's lazy. It's not for me, it's not entertaining. It's not entertaining. But there we are. Other people love it. So am I right? Am I wrong? Neither. I'm both right and wrong. It's my opinion, and other people who love the show, they're right. That's all there is to it.
And can I just say, on Ramsey's point where he says about opinions and what would LBC and other speech-based programs be without it? Well, actually, the point is that at no stage on those stations will you be, well, I mean, you'd probably be told by a presenter with an opinion that you are wrong, but that's in their opinion, if you see what I mean. They won't tell you you're wrong on behalf of the station because actually they rely on those opposing opinions to make the show interesting. So make no mistake, even if someone who is actually speaking to you say that you are wrong, that's just in their humble. It's not because you are categorically wrong with something. Unless, of course, you're factually inaccurate.
What is boring radio? What they don't want, you know, when I take part in other radio shows, is what they don't want is for you to have exactly the same view as them. Nowhere to go. You know, I like cheese. Yes, I like cheese too.
Well, that was a great call. Thank you very much. Goodbye.
That's it. You know, unless you're going to take the James O'Brien rudeness. You know, well, you're an idiot. Goodbye. What the hell? What the hell? I can't deal with that. Angela Lee, shoot me. I love Gogglebox. It makes me laugh. We're terrific. Great. And Melanie Hutchins, brain dead TV is good for the soul. In these days, anything that gets you through the day, Melanie, totally. Whatever the hell, whatever it is. I watched, kind of forced to watch two Christmas movies. You know, on Friday, you and I, Phil, we were discussing how you do a Christmas movie. They're all the same. They were both exactly the same.
I rest my case. Thank you very much.
Did they feature widowers? Yes. Did it feature someone going out of town and getting stuck? Yes.
I'm telling you.
One was, Kardashians, Melanie.
Oh, God. Melanie, really?
Put my fist through the screen when I see that. Phil, it appears
to me that person is simply enjoying winding you up. So by not showing any effect was the right thing to do. Well done. But Kimmy, I can't explain it. I know that I've known this person long enough, and I don't actually think that winding up was their style. What I actually believe it was is that they're just so genuinely passionate about the subject that they will try and reaffirm that passion on the subject by luring anyone in and getting them to say, yes, you're absolutely right, how wonderful it is. I think it's actually, obviously no psychologist, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's the same kind of premise as, you know, there's, what's the chemicals? Is it endorphins or something that's released? So, you know, or serotonin, whatever it's called.
So, hang on, what's the effect? Because they're different endorphins.
Okay, so the effect is, when you sort of look at something on social media and you get someone tell you that they like it, right? So let's just say something as simple as a photo you post and someone puts a like next to it. What does that do to us? It tells us
endorphin.
Yeah, but it tells us that someone's on our side. It tells them that yes, they are they're reaffirming what you have put out there into the ether. And I think what we're seeing now is a sort of a non-social media version of that because of social media. So in other words, we've sort of got this horrible problem now in sorry, I'm going to use the S word, in society, where everyone is so used to seeing their thoughts and their emotions and their feelings reaffirmed by social media, that now when we have a simple conversation, the art of conversation, which we used to know and love and used to do so blooming brilliantly in this country before social media came along and ruined all of it, is that has now suffered the same fate. If we don't have someone reaffirming our position, telling us, yes, you're right, yes, you're brilliant, I really approve of what you've just said, somehow we get very upset about it and very twitchy. So like I said, no psychologist, but that's kind of my observation of it, is that thanks to social media, we've forgotten how to converse, literally forgotten how to converse.
Well, you know that, Phil. How many times do you remember the word restaurant? You probably don't, but it's a place where you used to go and they'd serve you food, which was lovely.
Oh, you mean like
come back or catch up?
You mean like Deliveroo or Just Eat?
Imagine, no. Imagine, now you know Deliveroo, right, and Uber Eats. Now imagine instead of eating the food in your home, you leave home and you go to a building, it's called a restaurant, and you sit, but you're not eating the food at home. Yeah.
But Deliveroo still bringing you food?
No. They have what's called a kitchen, and they employ people in this building, a restaurant, and they bring the food. So no scooters are involved. No scooters, no little warm boxes on the back of the scooter, no one arriving looking like they've just landed in the next 15 fights. No, they cook it there and then somebody brings it to your table. Yeah.
I must try and find
like them apples. No, anyway, I've completely forgotten the point now. What the hell was the point? I don't even know where the hell we were going with that.
All right. So you remember I was talking about before conversing in a difference of opinion, and then you were saying,
yes, thank you. Now, I've got it now. Restaurants. How many times, come on everybody, how many times have you sat down and you look at the next table and they're all looking at their phones, and I think, what the bloody hell have you come out and paid 15, 20, 30, 40 quid a head? What are you, mental? And you're looking at your phone? Have a talk to each other. Or don't bother to go out. What's that about? Are you feeling better, Françoise? Right, Phil, we have literally forgotten how to converse, which is sad. Say, what's sad? Douleur? Françoise, what's French for sad? I can't remember. Malheureusement, unfortunately. I think that. Right. To tier 3, says Melanie Hutchins. No going down the pub for me.
Apparently, according to Google Translate, is triste. Triste.
Jeez, boy, oh boy. When you don't use something, it just atrophies. Yes. Russ, can you hear yourself? A place where people can go and eat. It makes no sense. I know. It's crazy, isn't it? It's wild. Hey, Paul and Phil, imagine this. You go to a building, you sit down in the building, right? And you watch people, stick it with it, Phil, stick with it. You watch people in front of you pretending to be other people. Huh?
What, as in like as in someone who you're not related to?
You're not related to them. No. You're sitting down, like in rows, and there's like, imagine there's like a curtain, could be a curtain, could be a door, probably a curtain. Curtain goes up, and people walk in front of you, and they pretend to be other people. Yeah.
Sounds like they're
What do
putting
you
it on.
think?
Right. Mark Bradshaw, good
Another
afternoon.
of my great ideas.
Good afternoon, Mark Bradshaw.
Good afternoon to you.
Oh, Ramsey.
Ramsey's on fire today. Ramsey's on fire today.
What did I do?
To blame social media. I don't know. You've upset him. I think you've upset him because you don't know what the Y stands for. That's why. It's so easy to blame social media. It's down to how people use it.
I'm guessing it's Ramsey, you're in trouble, Musalem.
Could be. Could be Yuri, like that's with a U, not a Y. Yuri Gagarin. There we are. It's so easy to blame social media. It's down to it. In many respects, social media holds a mirror to the user. A very nice fellow in real life will probably be the same on social media. Yeah. Totally so. They love it.
Ramsey,
that speed dating.
The case, but unfortunately, social media has to account for some things because unless I'm very much mistaken, before 2004, no one had a clue what a like button was, or whenever the year was. I think 2004 was actually when first Facebook came out. But what I mean is that whenever the like button was introduced, let's say in the late noughties, before then, no one had a concept of a like button. You could admire something, but really, I think
this is good. This is good news. Wait. My fantastic idea of a building where they serve you food, and then other people go to another building and people pretend to be other people. Ed Grossman's come up a name for the people who would pretend to be the people. Actors. Got a ring to it. Is that speed dating? No. Melanie Hutchins, it's not speed. I can't think of anything worse than speed dating. God almighty.
I could being on a date with someone you can't stand for a long period of time.
You're right. Long dating.
At least with speed dating, you just wait until you hear the ping and off you go. So
you're speaking with some assurance there, with a sense of knowledge on the subject.
Yes, I realize. I can hand on heart say I've never been speed dating, but I am familiar with what it involves because of watching it on TV and stuff. And I know before anyone says, "Oh, yeah, that makes you sound like you're denying it too much," or whatever the expression is. But I assure you that is the truth. It's not my thing.
Oh, damn. I was looking forward to great anecdotes about your speed dating things, but no, that's not going to happen.
No, but I could very it's just very simple.
Dating.
When the bing goes off and you go and move on to the next one, you just turn to someone, you just say it's been a pressure, and off you go.
Phil, I'm really confused. I need some help here because it was speed dating. So one group of people are moving around, the other people presumably are static. Is that it? At a desk or some nonsense. And then you got a period of time, 2, 3, now, a minute. I don't know. I have no idea. And you've got to sell yourself. So it's like an advertising pitch. You got to sell yourself to whoever's sitting there in 2 minutes.
It goes on the premise of love at first sight, really, doesn't it? Because in other words, if you see someone and
I'm laughing at the conversation here. It's genius. Ramsey is saying, goodness gracious me, fabulous show. In fact, I sent him a message first thing this morning. Bread rolls. The Indian. Do you not know that sketch, Phil? Do you know that sketch? It's the greatest sketch.
Didn't really get goodness gracious me.
Oh, I loved it. I thought it was hilarious. Absolutely. And I loved the Kumars at number 73 or 75, whatever it was. I can't remember the number, sorry. I love that. And Sanjeev Bhatta, just a delightful guy.
It's number 42.
Absolutely. Wherever it was. So one of the scenes in Goodness Gracious Me.
I mean, they may have moved, to be fair, but
Oh, God. They go into an English restaurant. So the Indian family behave as they would be an English white family going into an Indian restaurant, and all the tropes and cliches come out, but it's completely reversed. That's just fantastic. So clever. Such a clever show. It made me laugh a lot. We can't actually say bread rolls in my house without pronouncing it like the sketch. Yes, because the way they do it is as if the English waiters they don't speak English properly. You know, the way that people overpronounce when they go to an Indian restaurant sometimes. And so the Indian staff come over. And so you see people completely overpronouncing. Do you? I can't even do it. It makes me laugh so much.
I mean, it
was called Going Out for an English. That's so good.
It is absolutely the height of rudeness on British folks' behalf when we go anywhere in this world and we realize that someone doesn't speak English as their first language. What mentality is there that we thought that the way to make someone understand you a little better? By the way, English is already the slowest language spoken, or one of the slowest languages spoken, by the way. If you look at other countries, more often than not, their dialect is much faster than the way English is spoken.
It is.
And yet, for some reason, we think that by slowing right down and overemphasizing something,
and
like
raising your voice, you must raise your voice,
and suddenly we're multilingual. Yeah, but suddenly we're multilingual if we do that. How the heck does that work? Who thought of that?
I was somewhere. I was in Spain once. The people the next day, I don't know who the hell they were, right? And I'm just minding my own business. And they said, I'm going to order. And the bloke says, I swear to God, he says, leave it to me. I'll speak the language. He says, over here. And he goes, una bottle of very dry white wine, por favor. Think he's spoken Spanish. Una bottle of very dry white wine, por favor. I sat killing myself, trying not to let them see I was laughing. And then they go, burro. They point at the butter because somebody just said butter. They go, burro, which of course you want to say, you just asked for a donkey, you idiot. It's Montequero or something like that, Montequero or something. But it's not burro, which is a donkey. Do you know, Francois, we should do a TV show called Mind Your Language. Now, there's another thought. That's my third great thought. 1, a building where they serve food to you. We call it a restaurant. 2, another building where people pretend to be other people. We could call it theatre. I don't know, I'm making that word up. And 3, a TV sitcom where people from all over the world go to learn English. We call Mind Your Language. We could call it that.
You know what? There is actually a brilliant sketch in Only Fools and Horses where Del Boy is up at this counter in sort of some bar in Spain or something like that, and he's ordering a drink. And David Jason, I mean, what comic timing does he have? It was simply brilliant. Goes up to the bar and he goes up to the counter and he just sort of says to the barman, and I've got to get this right because I'm not completely convinced I can do it in quite the same way. Un margarita, por favor, dankeschön. So he manages 4 languages in one line. It's just absolutely.
It was just the genius of John Sullivan's writing. John Sullivan,
very funny.
Can you imagine how far we'd get before Mind Your Language was banned, Francois Pascal? It would, Paul Rose, of course, in order not to cause offence, it would only last 2 seconds. We can get past the pilot. Nothing would at all. Mind Your Language 2020.
I really do believe the best way to deal with life is laugh your way through it. Why on earth would I genuinely do struggle with people who get so easily offended at things? I don't understand it.
Well, if someone's got nothing else to do, it's their lifestyle. And 3, they're offended.
If someone's going out of their way to be offended, then okay, that's very different. But not to laugh. I think it's criminal not to laugh at life.
Well, you got to, you laugh or you cry, don't you? So I just, people say, don't you take things seriously? Not really. Why? Because it's all rubbish. It's all rubbish. You don't know what's going to happen. Believe me, I know. You never know what the hell's around the corner. So you might as well just enjoy what you can. Totally. So the thing about causing offence is that people take offence on other people's behalf. And the people who they think will be offended go, No, we're fine. Thank you. No, we're absolutely fine. You can just back off. You not notice that? They're always upset on other people's behalf. This is outrageous. Although I am bloody livid about one thing, and I will bring this up. Guy's Hospital, which saved my life, not to put too fine a point in it, been brilliant, particularly fond of Guy's Hospital. They have boarded up the statue. Have you seen that, Phil? The statue's been boarded up by Sadiq Khan and his gang. I want to go with a crowbar. I'd love to go with the whole gang of Men's Radio and whole gang from Women's Radio and just rip apart all the stuff that's boarding it up and just go to you. Stop rewriting history, you jerk.
Though, of course, we prefer not to encourage vandalism.
Obviously, it was merely a thought, not a suggestion. They've got no right. Who voted? You see, this really gets me upset. Who voted to say, yeah, okay, you can just go and board up any statue you like? What the hell? What the hell? No one. Where did they get this mandate from? Seriously. This is pure George Orwell.
Martin Allen can relate to the languages business because he says, Phil, way back in the 70s when we Spain's boards opened for holidays. Oh, I see. Okay, I'm just getting when Spanish borders were open for holidays, should we say? They didn't speak English and we speak Spanish. I watched my dad, who was 6'4" and big built, trying to chat to the hotel manager. Of course, he didn't understand Dad, so my dad started shouting in the hope that he would understand him more. It was like
my dad
of a carry-on film.
This was my dad. This was my dad.
I mean, I recognize
the worst.
I know that there was
anybody
Google Translate on the telephone. I get that. I know that there wasn't Google Translate on the phone. But seriously, what part of shouting at someone else just because they don't speak the language that you speak is going to make them understand more? Reverse the situation. If someone started shouting at me in Swahili, I wouldn't have a clue what they're saying. I might think they're angry about something, but I wouldn't know what they're saying.
Serves you right for calling a call center, doesn't it, really? Ramsey says, I won't read the whole thing, but it says Tony Blair, minister, apparently said the trouble with the French is they don't have a word for entrepreneur. Whether it's true. Essex Adventure, hello, Toby. When are we going? A peaceful removal of the boarding up. See, the thing is, they rely on the fact, we've got 2 minutes, but they rely on the fact that we'll do nothing. They do everything, and we go on radio shows and, oh, this is outrageous, and then nothing happens, and they get away with it. So if I went along with a crowbar from B&Q or Homebase and just ripped it all down, said, there's the statue, now shut up, I'd probably be in terrible trouble. But they've got no right to do that. I can't see how they've got any right to do it. Not speaking on my behalf, but who are they speaking on behalf of? And they're having an investigation. This is Guy's bloody hospital. They're having an investigation. It's disgraceful. Sorry, it's just madness. You cannot rewrite the whole of bloody history. You just can't.
I'd just rather people learn from it. I would rather people learn from history, not erase it. That's all you have to do. Look at it and think, wow, wasn't that horrific? Yeah, it probably was. Something was horrific. And now tell yourself it must never happen again, because surely that is a much better way to behave rather than pretending it never happened. Because honestly, some of the greatest lessons, which I really don't have time to go into now, some of the greatest lessons that I ever learned in my life have been from what's happened to me in my past. It's as simple as that. Learn from it. Don't hide from it. Because
when you were caught up in the dissolution of the monasteries and the Renaissance, you never bounced back from that properly.
Well, quite. Anyway, right. We'll be back on Wednesday at midday. Join us then. We'll see you then. Bye-bye, everyone.
Are you feeling anxious? Online Therapy 24/7 is here to help. We offer confidential support from the comfort of your own sofa. Our highly qualified therapists are experienced in a full range of daily challenges. You'll be in safe and trusted hands. Don't suffer alone. Change your life by calling us on 0207 553 50 80 and check out our website onlinetherapy247.com.